questions that you send in to us on social media using the hashtag CowboysFS. That's CowboysFS for Cowboys Fan Show. Simple enough, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Get those sent in on Facebook. You can send it to us on Twitter. If you want to email us, you can send that to cowboysfanshow@gmail.com. So let's jump right into it. Our first question comes to us from Brendan out in Houston. Thanks for being consistent with the questions, Brendan. We appreciate it. Now, he wants to know, given Dak's big win in Green Bay, is he now a lock to remain the starting quarterback?
That's a difficult question, and with these wins piling up, it's getting more and more difficult to answer that question every week. However, Jerry Jones is clearly still in Romo's corner, and I think until he changes his tune, I'm going to say, and this isn't even my personal opinion, do I think he's a lock to remain the starter? No. I'm not even sure he's the best quarterback on this team. I mean, maybe he gives us the best chance to win, and he's doing a fantastic job right now, and he is getting all these W's, but let's say that we make a deep playoff run. Let's say that we make it to the Super Bowl. That's a lot of pressure on a rookie. And, I mean, if he goes into Minnesota and he beats Minnesota in a couple weeks, I might be singing a different tune. And, honestly, the needle is moving. The needle is moving. And I feel like I need to answer this differently every single week. And every week, I mean, first week, I'm like, nah, it's Romo's job, absolutely, hands down. Yeah. But I still believe that you got to put Romo in. You know, he's got another year left on his contract. He's an older guy. He's experienced. I mean, he's a 14-year veteran. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's been to the playoffs. And I think that you've got to go with experience in a situation where you're in an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl or anything of that nature. I mean, let's look at Brock Osweiler last year. They got Denver. The rest of the team was playing well, and we're playing as a unit right now. He got Denver to the playoffs, and you know, he handed the reins to the sheriff, and he got the job done, and they're the champs now. So,
I think Dak has to start. I think he absolutely has to, given those 2 wins that he has in the last 2 weeks.
Big wins,
against a really good Cincinnati Bengals defense, and also this Packers defense that was first against the run in the NFL. You know, and you said it. We make that deep playoff run. Do we go with Tony or Dak? I got to go with Dak, because all of my life, all I can remember is getting to the playoffs, and Tony Romo drops a snap, or in 2009, we're 13-3. We get the first round bye, play the Giants in the second round. Romo throws 4 picks in that. I think it was 3 or 4 picks in that one. I know at the very last play he was looking for Terry Glenn in the end zone. Terry Glenn, old number 83, throws a pick. So all I know is Tony Romo losing in big moments.
Well, it's mean tweets. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
You want Tony Romo to be a pallbearer at your funeral. Why?
So he can let you down one last time. Exactly.
That's right.
So let's move on now. Morris Claiborne, he got knocked out by Sean Lee this week. He did sustain a concussion. Now, he's going through the concussion protocol. They're saying he should be on track to return after the bye week. But, Scott, if he does not return after the bye week, who's going to take that spot outside for him?
Well, the same guy that took the spot during this game. I mean, Mo's been playing fantastic football this year. I mean, Pro Bowl caliber player right now. He's living up to the 6th overall pick, in my opinion, this year. And I'm absolutely, I couldn't be happier for Mo. But Anthony Brown moved outside this week, and he actually plays a lot better in the slot. And he's more of a slot corner. He's a real physical player, whatnot. But I mean, he didn't skip a beat, and I mean, you wouldn't have known.
Right.
You would not have known that Mo wasn't outside this week. And I mean, for a 6th-round rookie draft choice this year, I mean, that's phenomenal. He's going against the Packers. I mean, they've got Jordy Nelson, they've got Randall Cobb, you've got Aaron Rodgers, and you had no idea that there was a rookie, number 30, out there on the edge playing that ball. And he did a fantastic job. And moving forward, if somebody has to fill in for Mo, I think that Brown does it admirably.
Well, the Cowboys have Anthony Brown. They still have Byron Jones, who I think will probably step in to fill that slot.
Yeah,
should Anthony Brown is gonna move out. But they still have Orlando Scandrick, who is one of the best cornerbacks on this team. Now it's gonna be interesting to see where Scan fits in when he comes back, because you're gonna have Carr on one side, you know, Mo or Brown, and then that's gonna leave somebody in the slot. Is that gonna be Byron? Is it gonna be Scan? Is it gonna be Brown? We'll see.
Well, and that's the thing, is Scan right now is actually dealing with, like, not 1, but 2 hamstring injuries. So, I mean, I think you go with who's healthy and who's playing better ball. And right now, I think Brown is doing a fantastic job.
Now, our next question comes to us from Gilbert in Santa Rosa. He wants to know, should the Dallas Cowboys trade Dez Bryant, given how well these receivers are performing in his absence?
Gilbert, why? And I'm going to go with a resounding no on this one, and it's because what do you trade him for?
Yeah.
You know, I don't see any other teams giving up, and he just got a huge contract, so I mean, there's salary cap implications on that, so that limits the number of people that you're going to be able to, your trade partners. You know, then you're going to have to find a team that needs a true #1 receiver. You know, who's that? And then they're going to have to be one to give up what I believe is the type of currency that a Dez Bryant warrants, actually. What is it, first-round pick? First and second?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and let's say that we trade Dez to somebody and they're willing and they give us a first-round pick. Dez is a first-round pick.
Yep.
And I believe that he's a first-round pick that was a hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that you trade this guy for anything of that nature. It's really just a gamble. And why would you gamble with a player that's got the talent that Dez Bryant has on this team?
Well, we were talking during the break. Once Dez comes back, and we've said this, you know, a couple weeks ago as well, once Dez comes back, these teams are not going to be able to load the box. They're going to start pulling that safety over to Dez's side. He requires double coverage, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Every single play. And we've seen how well Beasley has performed. Terrence Williams has stepped up. Even Bryce Butler, who should have a touchdown in 3 straight games, but the one against Cincinnati was called back. Those guys are just going to be more and more open when Dez comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to make it easier for Zeke running the ball first off. It's going to give Dak or Tony, whoever starts, it's going to give them a true #1 receiver, because those 3 guys that we have out there on the field right now and Jason Witten, none of them are true #1 receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just locked Dez down to his contract also. It's a contract year for Terrence Williams. I think we gave Bryce Butler, what, a 2 or a 3 year,
Yeah.
which means that he's either got to get re-signed next year or he's gone. So Dez Bryant really is the staple of our receiving core right now.
Absolutely. So let's move on. Kim asks us our next question. She wants to know, are the Cowboys the best team in the NFC?
And the NFC, not according to the power rankings this morning that I read, but let's look at the other teams that are ahead of us. Seahawks, they have ahead of us. They also had, who they have ahead of us? The Atlanta Falcons, they got ahead of us, and then
the
obviously
Vikings.
the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, they're undefeated. They're 5-0. We're 5-1.
But can you trust Sam Bradford? I can't. I can't. I just can't.
No. Do I think that they have the quarterbacks on their team that we have on ours? Absolutely not. Or the running back, or they have a phenomenal defense.
Right.
But we just smashed the #1 ranked rush defense in the NFL. So who's to say that we don't go into Minnesota and just manhandle that D-line as well? Because I mean, let's face it, folks, we're getting the job done against supposed powerhouse defenses right now. So.
Right.
I don't want to go out there and say that we're better than Minnesota, because we're about to find out. I mean, we got them coming up in what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks after the bye. I think we got Philly, and then Minnesota right after that.
I believe so.
Yeah, I'd have to double check in a second, but regardless, we're going to find out in the next month whether or not we're better than those guys, and I think that that's going to just take care of itself. Atlanta's got a high-powered offense right now, but we just put down the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and they have a fantastic receiving core. They're running the ball well. They've got weapons. So I think that we're better than the Falcons. And the Seahawks, yeah, we're better than the Seahawks. You know why? Just because we're better than the Seahawks. All right, so if we go into Minnesota and we beat Minnesota, then absolutely, hands down, we're the best team in the NFC. We're going to find out.
Now, you were talking about the power rankings that you saw this morning. The official standings in the NFC, you have Minnesota 5-0, Dallas is second at 5-1, Seattle's at 4-1, and then you have Atlanta and Washington 4-5, both of them at 4-2 overall. Redskins reeled off 4 straight, but with all that being said, like you said, we just went into the Packers' house, smacked them in the mouth, ran all over them all game long.
All over.
All game long.
Yep.
I truly believe that the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier. I mean, it was ugly at times, and was there room for improvement? I mean, Dak actually had 2 fumbles and an interception, and that's uncharacteristic of him. So we didn't even play our best ball, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, stay hanging out with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this commercial break to have a look around the NFC East. You're watching the Cowboys Fan Show.